Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Velvet Lounge life, which is really my life. Um, I just was sitting on the couch watching a gardening video and asked myself, what can I plant now? Our snow, which was feet high, finally has, I think, completely melted. I don't think we even have a single snow patch left out there, or if we do, it's not that bad. And it is the middle of March. And in my opinion, I just wanted to run out there and start planting melons and stuff like that, which I know is not realistic. But there are actually some things that we can plant right now. And so we're going to go outside and take a look at the garden beds because now that the snow is fully melted, I'll have an idea of what I'm dealing with out there. I did start to do a little bit of winter cleanup. We actually had our tree guys come and clear the tree size branches that fell out of these ancient trees. Well, they didn't fall, they snapped out due to the weather. We had two blizzards and ice storm. I think we had two ice storms, two or three. I don't know. We had ice storms, and due to the iciness on the branches, stuff fell, stuff snapped, and stuff was wild out here. So that's the plum tree. That used to be my grandma's plum tree that we had to have cut down last season. And I will say something. You guys always make sure you have, and I don't know who's living in this hole. It could be bunnies for all we know. But always make sure you have some good tree guys because the number of times that we've had to call them over the years is wild. Oh, so you can see we still have patches of snow out here, actually in several areas. Well, let's go take a look at our first raised garden bed and see how that's doing. I have different plans for this area this year. However, as you can see, those purple plants, those are all impatiens, I believe. Yes, they are. They're impatiens that are coming through. I don't remember what this plant is called, but it looks like an evergreen and it has pink and yellow flowers that grow out of it right here in this strip that's brown. So there's a lot of activity, a lot of growth here. I have some sage. It grows near the little dachshund boot scraper. And these two or three long bits, 1, 2, 3, are baby, guess what? Yes, dogwood trees. I actually have another one over there too. I'm growing those for transplanting. Here's a bird's nest that fell out of the tree for transplanting on this property. One to replace my grandma's plum tree, and then the other is to give away as a gift, and then I'll see what I'll do with the other ones. Now, one of the things that we tried to get ahead of at the end of last season is the Japanese jumping worm. And I don't know how well we did with that. Here's some more snow still out here. And we'll see. I mean, only time will tell. We do have some diatomaceous earth that we will be putting down all over the cut grass areas, and even in some of like that front planting area. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 planting areas at the front of the property. So we will be putting some down there as well. And probably on some of the back planting areas. And when I call them planting areas, those are like you can see around the mailbox areas that like that. And as I said, anywhere that's like a cut grass area to see if that helps. We felt anyway that we were keeping them at bay. I think we still are. Um, so we're doing all of this more as a preventive more than anything else. I can't believe that the cloches stayed upright after the amount of snow that was thrown all over them this season. But these are the peonies out here, and I always cloche them so that we, for a couple of reasons. One, know where they're located. Number two, when my husband starts mowing for the season, he doesn't just like mow over them. And then once they're established, I just remove the cloche. And I need some assistance if any of you know anything about the American hazelnut tree. I would really like to see this grow like crazy. And I don't know if it's normal to have these seed, I guess these are seed pods, hanging from the branches. I saw that. Actually, I see, oh, look at that. We have some growth coming in. As you can see, those red buds. So apparently it's not suffering, but I still don't know like why those are there. And it wasn't until last season, that was the very first time that I saw those on this tree. So hopefully it's a positive thing, and that means the tree is going in the right direction. This is where I grew the peas that were able to climb the trellis last season. And something I forgot to tell you guys last season about those peas is the fact that the seed was 15 plus years old. So when people tell you, or not people tell you, but when you see expiration dates on seed packets, do not believe them. As a matter of fact, the melons I grew last year came from seed that was probably 10 to 12 years old. So just something to be aware of. That seed technically really kind of doesn't have an expiration date unless it's not, I feel anyway, unless it's not properly stored. So let's go look at, and my husband and I, we're making a list, as I make us do every pre-spring season, of all of the projects that we want to get done, as well as, maintenance things that you need to do anyway. Yeah, so those are impatiens. They're growing in the other area. We had a rabbit that dug out the soil so it could, I guess, hibernate for the winter. And this is where all of that crazy basil grows. So our basil bed. Something else I want to do, and I might do this in a separate video, and I'm showing you some plants that were given to us by a horticultural professor. And look, we have lots of lawn light damage from the storms and from snow being tossed on top of them. But he's kind of a neighbor of ours. He lives around the corner. And I see something really interesting in the woods that just caught my eye. I think we have a couple dens back here. I could see one, probably two dens. So it'll be interesting to know what lives in there. I don't think they're large enough for a black bear, but we do have black bear that live here that we share the land with, as well as fox, coyote, and fisher cats. Those are the biggest. Anyway, and in our town, I don't know how long ago it was, 5-6 years ago, I think, someone had photos of a moose on their land. So in our state, and unfortunately a moose lost its life on the highway a couple years ago, and I was up in arms about it, as well as everyone else, because it was on one of the major highways. It was stuck, I think, between the barriers. The highway patrol, state police came out and killed the animal instead of relocating it. Really still pissed off about that. But anyway, The professor gave us several plants, all of them being native, as a gift because we did a favor for them. And I came home one day and there were these pallets of plants that were there. And I was just like, where'd all these plants come from? And then they sent me a text. It was like so sweet. I love having amazing neighbors. It's really not an expected thing, unfortunately, in today's, not even just today's world, but it's just not an expected thing. And if you live in certain towns, it's, I think, even less of an expected thing. I know people actually expect it, but I'm telling you, don't expect it. And if it happens, be happy, be joyful. It's amazing. And my God, it is cold out here. I wonder if it's like in the 30s. It has to be in the 30s. But we're going to go look at this other raised garden bed. And oh my God, you guys, I am considering getting 1 or 2 more raised garden beds. In this bed, I decided to dedicate it to flowers only. So there's, I want to say 3 types of flowers growing in here. And I actually have some more flower seeds I'm going to be putting in here that I have from a bouquet and some ornamental grass right there that I'm going to be putting in that actually came from flowers that were given to me as a gift. And I decided, because some of them were so pretty, to dry the bulbs, try to recover seed, if that's even a thing. So it's more of an experiment than anything else. And yeah, there you go. There's one of our big old ancient trees that we unfortunately had to have cut down simply because over the decades, and even before the house was built, they partially had to blow out some of the root system. You can see some of it right there on the ground. And going all the way over here towards our foundation. And this is a lot. Pieces right here as well. And I was just like, before it caves a wall in or something, we have to be proactive. So in my gardening, yep, just like in my life, I believe in being proactive. And there's a nice mountain of snow out there. We have moles, which will be a project we'll be working on this season to try to, I hate to say this, get rid of them, move them onto the neighbors' yards. I don't know where they came from. They may be in our neighbor's yard already. Just don't know. And over here, the weird thing about this bush is these leaves are really, they're like new leaves, like spring leaves. Technically, these are the same leaves that were still on at the end of the season. And this is the area where I found the Japanese jumping worms. So that's why I decided to go crazy on them. We pulled up all this mulch, removed anything we thought was a worm seed, not seed, egg. And because one worm can produce 90 eggs. So just imagine, that's a lot. Some animal has been digging over here, and I suspect that see how it sort of looks like coffee grounds, but then when I squish them, it's just dirt. So I think we got them. I think we killed them if there were any active eggs. And of course worms, because afterwards we didn't see any. So anyway, let's take a trip back into the house. There's a couple more areas I could show you, but my hands are getting extremely cold.